Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This is sort of going to be a snap judgment review. I say sort of because I'm about 15 hours into this. I have a good idea of the gameplay and story. However, since this is a fairly long game, I'm going to put the snap judgment label on this just to be fair. I'm only going to show off and talk about things that happen in the first couple chapters, as I like to keep this mostly spoiler free, as this is only about 10% of the game. This is the third time that I played one of these titles. I reviewed the first one when it came out for the Wii, and I thought it was fun. I did try out Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U, and I couldn't get past 4 hours with it. It was so boring and confusing. And when I heard the similar rumblings about this game, I almost didn't play it. And I'm glad I did though, since this is way better than either one of the previous games. However, it does have its flaws. This is the story of Rex, a cloud sea diver who takes the job to raid a derelict ship. Inside, he finds a girl named Pyra in suspended animation. He finds out that she's what is called an Aegis, a supposedly super powerful blade. A blade is a magical creature that drivers use to power their attacks, I think. You see, Rex is a driver and Pyra is a blade, and you can get multiple blades. This whole thing was never very clear to me. I get that you use them to do different attacks, but the whole point of them seemed unnecessary. You can collect different blades like Pokemon to add to your collection. They do different attacks and have different weaknesses depending on the one you use. The main character is a newly made driver. He, like the player, really doesn't know how to use his blade. There is multiple tutorials which do a good job of explaining the basics, but when you get to more advanced stuff, it gets way too confusing. The story walks the line between dramatic and lighthearted. It does do a good job making the characters goofy or just giving them a quirky personality. It helps keep the action fun when it gets a little more serious later on. The character models were quite good, with the exception of Pyra. I have no idea why they have her looking like this. Yes, she's a woman character, but we don't need this very graphic reminder. A good deal of the women characters in this game were really dressed ridiculously, but Pyra was by far the strangest character design. I don't even know how you fit into a dress like that. It feels like she would have had to use a lot of rubber bands and tape. The fighting is action-based, where you can target someone and it auto fights for you. You can choose what major attacks you want to do, but the normal attacks are just done automatically. They want you to do major attacks when you're just about to auto swing to do more damage or status damage. The whole thing was very confusing, especially when switching between blades on the fly. It got easier, but there were still times where I wasn't sure what the game wanted me to do. They let you change up the attacks you want to level up, plus there were other things to level up. It was just silly. Why is everything so complicated? Don't get me started on that sex robot, artificial blade. You want to change out her parts to upgrade her. How do you do that? By playing an arcade game. What the f*** is going on? Who on the design team said, yeah, we need to complicate this menu system even more? Why is everything 4 or 5 steps just to do something? Did no one say no to anything? They needed to simplify this UI a lot. I get that they wanted to make it customizable, but they used too many ideas. This doesn't even get into the sea levels and time of day. The quests were a lot of fetch quests. For example, there was one simple quest where you want to help a woman get ingredients for a pie, but when you actually get it, she needs you to pay to fix her stove. No, lady, I did what you want. Give me my money and my experience. Now, they often give you the option to work off your bill or just pay it. However, this sort of thing just keeps happening in quests. Us having to go out of our way to do something we really shouldn't have to do. It's really bad storytelling. However, I did find the main quest story compelling. It's the most frustrating part of this. I enjoyed the main story and the gameplay overall, but I hated the way it was presented. They give you a compass to show you how far you are from an objective. However, sometimes it just didn't work, or 2 objectives would overlap each other, and you couldn't actually see how far one of them was. It was nice that they gave you a way to fast travel because the land you had to explore was very large, and it was very easy to get lost, even with the map. There were quite a few things I liked though. I liked diving for treasure. The fights were also sometimes really fun. The towns you come across were actually pretty interesting to explore because they would often hide items all throughout it. So it gives you a reason to explore every nook and cranny. Plus the characters that you come across were actually fun to be around. It just felt so frustrating that everything else was just so needlessly complicated. If they had simplified everything, this game would have been way better. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was fun in parts, but I couldn't help but feel the whole time that I was playing the game wrong. It's because everything was just so needlessly complicated when it came to leveling up attacks or spells. While the tutorials do explain it in the end, it was still very confusing. 15 hours in, they're still throwing new stuff at me. Graphically, it looked great, and the voice cast was actually pretty good. I think you should wait for this to go on sale. Maybe $40 instead of $60. It's not a bad game. Not even a little. It'll keep you entertained. I just hated the menu system of this, and the way you leveled up your characters. It's like the creator said, more complexity makes the game more fun. No, it just makes it confusing. So I would just say wait for this to go on sale.